Good morning and welcome. I am Tony Taylor and I am the Connector. Today you're in for a treat. I have Pieter Elsen. This man has written books. He's done just about everything. I'll let him tell his story, but welcome and we will get connected. Welcome, Pieter.
Yeah, good morning.
How are you?
I'm good, really good. Nice to be here with you.
I'm so grateful that you're here today because I know you're a busy person such as myself. And thanks for taking the time out of your busy schedule to be here. And it was so great last night when you came in town, and Debbie and I and your wife Jenna, we had a wonderful meal at Tulsi in Carytown. If anyone likes Indian cuisine, go to Tulsi in Carytown. It's amazing.
It is.
Yeah, and thanks for the recommendation, because I live here. You don't even live here. I live here, and I've never been there. It's incredible.
Yeah, it's good because it's not too spicy, and which is,
Yeah.
for our sensitive stomachs when you get older.
Exactly. As you get older.
Particularly when the next morning you have a recording, you want to make sure that it's not too hot and spicy
Exactly.
before.
And I used to love hot curries and all kind of hot foods.
Yeah.
Now I have to kind of curtail it because
Yeah.
it just kills my stomach.
Welcome to getting older, my friend. Yeah.
Yeah, I am older than you. We discussed that last night.
Not too much. Not too much.
So, Pieter, I want all of our viewers to know who you are. And so I'll start by asking, how did you grow up and where did you grow up?
I am from the Netherlands, Holland. As you know, Holland.
Yes.
From a little town, really.
Okay.
My parents were from the big city. They were from, what you call The Hague.
Okay.
And but my dad was transferred to the south. In those days, it was like heavy-duty Catholic country.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I grew up in this little town, but very peaceful. Very safe.
Okay.
And but at a young age, I felt suffocated, as suffocated as I could be.
Now, why do you think you felt suffocated?
Well, in retrospect, and since this is the name of the part of my business, I knew that in the past life my last life was in Tibet, just the one before that, and eating momos.
Oh, wow. That's like in Tibet as well.
Oh, you did?
I have, yeah.
So
my first guest, Christine, talked about when I first started seeing her 33 years ago. And it's wild because I draw. And so I had drawn this picture, and then I showed it to her, and then we delved deeper, and she was like, oh, you had a past life in Tibet. You were a monk.
Right.
And I was like, what? Really?
That makes two of us. I was a monk in Tibet too.
Wow.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's hard to explain sometimes why you were born in whatever situation, but for me it was just so alien, to be there. But
sure,
there was no acute problem or anything. And my family was very loving. There was no trauma.
Okay, that's great.
Everything was good with the people. But for me, it was more existential.
Okay.
Like I was looking for something different. So, I started my quest early.
Okay.
Particularly, I'm remembering past lives. As a kid, I started remembering past lives.
Now, how in the hell do you remember a past life as a kid?
Well,
did you know it was a past life?
Yeah, because it's...
But even when you were a child, you knew it was not...
Yes. It starts with dreams and stuff.
Okay.
And then it's so vivid and so real.
I have those dreams.
And then, it's like, oh my God, and it alters the way you look at life.
Yes.
And you start to wonder, why the hell am I here?
Yeah, exactly.
And why now? And why with these parents? Why under these circumstances? And if you remember the past, which is just, and people ask you, are you sure it's the past? You're not making this stuff up? It's not a movie? No, but when you know.
Exactly.
It's like you're standing in front of somebody and they have a certain vibe.
Yes.
And It's not like, are you sure you know that? No, I know. If somebody's angry in front of you, would you know it? Yeah, I know. Right? So this stuff you just kind of know. It's not really for yourself, not up for debate. And so, and it has an impact on your psychology.
Okay.
When you realize as a kid, oh my God, I've lived before.
That's incredible, because I don't think a lot of people are that in tune or don't recall past lives, because I guess from everybody that I've talked to, they've needed regressions to go back, and they've never, the ones that I've come in contact with, have never just had a oh my God, I had a past life, especially
Yeah.
at such a young age.
Yeah, and the thing is, the impact it has on you is that you start to think, because you're like, okay, if that is true, then
Yeah.
why am I here? Like, what propelled me to be here? And is it the result of certain, karmic patterns? So I started figuring out this idea of karma, like cause and effect.
Yeah.
Okay, so there must be some causality
Yeah.
that causes the effect of me being here.
Yeah.
Right. So, and then you start to think further. Well, okay, that means that if I am the result of causality,
Yes.
then does it have an impact on my immediate future? Like if I start to do certain things or not be aware of certain things, then where am I going to end up?
Yeah.
Do I have some sort of say in my future?
Now, did you talk to anybody about this?
Yeah, my mom was kind of a yogi type.
Okay.
Not kind of a yogi. She was very much a yogi type.
Yeah.
And as I got older, I started more. In the beginning, this particular topic, I didn't really talk much to her about it. But later on, we started to really become more and more close.
Yeah.
As I started following her all over Europe to meet swamis and gurus and saints and sages. So that's really how my childhood unfolded.
Yeah.
We started going to different, meetings and trying to find teachers. And so we went all over the place.
All over Europe?
All over Europe to meet. People would come from India or from different places, and we would go lectures and seminars, and it was so much fun, actually.
What age were you then?
I started really, my first kind of, you could say, Swami trip,
Yeah.
was like when I was 15.
Oh, 15.
Yeah. I was a little uncomfortable, I must say, because,
Yeah.
these old people looking dressed strange, and, you're a country hick, so,
Yeah.
you're like really narrow-minded.
Yeah.
And, but what you realize is that being in their company and the beautiful people that generally surround the metaphysical world, and then you compare that to your day-to-day village life, it becomes very, clear very quick, like, wow, this is a whole different level of people.
Yeah. Now, while you were there, did you notice any different energy while
Yes,
being there?
absolutely.
I love energy. I'm all about energy. And you can feel energy, right?
Yeah, and particularly as a kid, you're more, you're more pure-hearted, I would say.
You are, yeah.
You
just came from the other side.
Right. Yeah. Your nervous system is not all fried up like it is now when you get older. So,
Mine is scrambled, fried.
Yeah, it is. And so at that age, you're very sensitive. And then, I was lucky that I had parents that protected that search. And
Your dad was open to that too.
Yeah, he was a traditional Catholic, but not one of those hardcore. He had lived all over the world himself.
Oh, he had.
Yeah, he'd been in 2 wars. He'd been in, and he immigrated to the United States. Didn't
Your
stay.
dad did?
He did, but he didn't stay.
What state? Do you know?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I wish I
would
was.
have come to Richmond. He would have stayed. And we could have been friends growing up.
I know. I may have not
about
been.
the same
I may not have been born to begin with. So, yeah. So anyhow, yeah, he was very open-minded, and he was in social work. So he was a director of a school, and he helped kids that had dropped out of school.
Oh, wow.
And re-educate them, prepare them for life, and so on. And he was very open-minded. And
That's awesome.
And so my mom. So he was kind of a man of the world. You could ask him anything, and he would always have an answer. He was always reading and stuff. And Mom was the spiritual type. Like an Indian gopi, like a devotee type, and very loving. And so I could talk spiritual stuff with her. Yeah. And there was always somebody to talk to. And so they were very supportive. And I think it helped a lot.
And you have siblings. Are any of them metaphysical?
Yes. No, not really.
Yeah. I think a couple of my sisters are, and definitely my brothers aren't, but I think 2 of my sisters are kind of metaphysical, but not in the realm that I'm in. Like, I'm uber metaphysical. That's how I live my life, is in the metaphysical realm.
Yeah.
And it helps me, because like, with all this going on in this world right now, I think metaphysics has been like a lifesaver, a game changer for me, because it keeps me grounded. Because I'm a Gemini, triple, quadruple Gemini. We talked about that at dinner last night, where I have 4 signs in Gemini. So, like, I'm all over the place. So I need to be grounded. So the metaphysics, it grounds me. Now, so 15, you started that, and then Tell me what happened after. Did you?
Well, I went to college.
Okay.
I studied industrial design, which is as far away from the metaphysical as it can be.
Yes.
But they were very creative people.
Okay.
And I was out in the big city for the first time, and it was like liberation. It was like mukti.
Yeah.
It was like, oh my God. And just to be around these, free spirits, and it was 5 years in that school, and it was really actually a huge transformation. And during that time, every summer, I would actually go to Chicago, believe it or not.
Here to Chicago?
To Chicago, yeah. That was accidental. There was an Indian Swami. He was a big guru.
Okay.
And somehow through the grapevine, I heard that, I just wanted to go to the US in the beginning.
Okay.
Me and my friend Hugo, childhood buddies, we were always together. And we wanted to go to the US. We didn't have no interest per se to go to some Swami.
Sure.
But we thought, where are we going? And, when you're just a country little boy, you want to be safe, right?
Yeah.
And so we said, why don't we go via this Swami's place? And then from there, we branch out and see a little bit.
Yeah.
But when I went there the first time, it was like instantly like I loved the guy.
Okay.
I just loved him. He was so awesome and he was so powerful and he was really just a great saint.
Yeah.
And it was just it was just surprised to me that I was so drawn. And so I went back every summer. I would save up money. In Holland you used to get, it was funny because, how do you afford that when you're 18 years old, 19 years old? So I would get from the government, we would get travel money to go to college.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Holland is
They don't do that here.
rich country, So what I would do is I would hitchhike to school every day. For 5 years, I hitchhiked every single
Every
day
day?
and never not made it. Unbelievable. Like even exams, final
Somebody
exams.
was looking at a higher power.
It was strange in retrospect. Like today, I don't think it's even possible.
No.
So and I
People
saved.
just zoom past it.
Yeah, and I saved up that money, and then I took that to go to the U.S. every.
That's incredible.
Yeah, and it was amazing. And so I eventually ended up doing my internship for college in Chicago. I worked in some design company, and that's when I realized, like, I don't really want to do this.
Okay.
And
was that after college?
No, it was during college. I had the internship. You had to spend several months in some design company.
I mean, when you realized that you didn't want to do this.
No, I realized it then and there.
Okay.
I realized, like, I don't really... I mean, I love being in college. I love the subject. Mm-hmm. I love everything about it. But I don't want to work in this field.
Yeah.
But I did finish.
Okay.
I did finish. I thought, don't throw that away right now.
Sure.
But what I did was, strangely as it may sound, and that's the radical me, I actually, after graduating, I didn't even go to... We had a big exhibition and the newspapers would come and this and that. I didn't even go.
You did not?
I put all my stuff in the trash, including my diploma. And
are you serious?
Seriously, I thought, done with this shit. I don't want to, do this. And then I was drafted in the army, talking of a contradictory. And I was for a while in the army.
How long did you?
Not long, because I got injured.
Oh.
Right, like just after basic training.
Okay.
I was posted somewhere in some administrative function somewhere,
Yeah.
and then I got really bad injury on my leg.
Oh gosh.
And they don't want to take the chance on a drafted soldier, like, we're not going to pay the rest of our lives for you, and you're not really going to be a soldier.
Yeah.
So I was honorably discharged.
Okay.
And then a week later, I joined an ashram in Paris.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Another Indian Swami saint. He was a very great saint.
How did you get to that ashram? How did you
My
find
mom
it?
we actually used to go there during our college years.
Okay.
Talking about going all over Europe.
Yes.
So we would go and meet different saints and gurus and swamis. And so he had a big center in Paris, just on the outskirts of Paris.
Okay.
Just near Disney, what now is Disneyland there.
Okay.
And it's a beautiful chateau. Merveilleuse. It was absolutely gorgeous, 10 acres.
Wow.
Old chateau. And people from all over the world would come there. And we would go there on trips, me and my mom. And you can stay there and, you can follow the programs, the routines, and just immerse yourself in that spiritual tradition there. And it was a beautiful melange between French culture and Indian philosophy.
Oh, wow.
So you didn't feel like you have to become some sort of... that you have to change your identity. Sometimes when you go to these places, you're going to be asked to change your fundamental culture, which I am allergic to myself.
Exactly.
And so I just you could be who you were, and you have French food, but then they mixed it with Indian food.
Oh, wow.
And the philosophy was all Indian. The Swami was Indian, but he was so universal, he was just a man of God.
Yeah.
And it was just absolutely, and I spent the next 3 years there.
3, wow.
4 years, sorry, 4.
Okay.
4 years.
And what did you do while you were there?
I was training to become a monk.
Okay.
I didn't know in the beginning.
How the hell do you train to become a monk?
Well, stay away from the world for a few years, and you know why you're training to be a monk.
Yeah.
And so initially I didn't go there for that reason at all. Like I said, I just finished college. I had no interest in working as a product designer.
Yeah.
And I was just like, well, what am I going to do? I want to do what I really want to do.
Okay. And that's great, because most people, how old were you at that time?
23.
Yeah, 23. At 23, most of the time, we don't know what the hell we want to do the rest of our lives.
No.
We just go out and do it because society has told us you have a diploma, you have a degree.
Right.
Now you have to work in that field, and you have to make money. Like,
right.
The end game is to make money and to be happy with material things instead of things that fulfill you. So it's great that you could recognize that at 23 years old.
Well, that's the only thing I could recognize. That I don't want to do this.
Yes.
Like, right? It was more like a negation first. Like,
Yeah.
hell no, I don't want to now go in some office and sit the rest of my life on my ass doing this.
Yeah,
so I was like, what I didn't, but I did know where my heart was.
Sure.
But to be a monk, that is a stretch, right?
Yeah.
When you're 23 years old. And so I was like, I'm not sure about that.
Yeah.
So I wasn't looking for that.
Yeah.
At all, to be honest.
Yeah, and then how did it transpire after that?
Just the love of being among those people. Mm-hmm. And living that kind of life, it does something to you. When you're just away from a lot of the distractions and noises and you start to meditate twice a day, your mind goes to a different place.
Yeah.
And talking of energy, right? You feel the energy within you, and then you realize, oh man, that just feels really good. Your mind gets really like translucent, and living in the company of the saints, truly saints.
Yeah.
That is one of the greatest experiences. It's hard to explain.
Yeah.
So for me, it was just like a love affair of the philosophy, of the Eastern Vedic, the Upanishads, the Vedas, and I was very much into that. Mm-hmm. I loved just the philosophy part, and why am I here? What is the goal of life? And
do you think you ever had a past life in the Indian culture?
Yeah, absolutely.
You had?
Yeah, I remember that too.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Is that in your book? We'll talk about your book.
Yeah, there's some experiences there. Yeah.
Okay.
So, it's like, it was just something that I just loved, and it was natural to me. It was not very difficult for me for most people, like, oh my God, you're away from women, you're away from this, you're away from that. Like, how can you do it? It's not that
That's a huge factor, though.
Well, it is. And it's not, let's be real. That's, for a 23-year-old, that's not like natural. And for me, it was also a struggle.
Yeah.
And of course, that's always a struggle being a human being.
Sure.
But the other advantages really like outweighed. And so I was just saying, well, why not stay? And then after a few years, the old monk, he died. Mm. And then I had an opportunity, which I had not thought about either, to go to India, and they say there's a training center, it's like a seminary.
Sure.
For young novices. And then you go 2 years to that training center in Calcutta.
Okay.
City of Joy.
Yeah.
Man, that is a tough place.
Was it joyful?
Well, it was, but it was not also because I was the next 2 years in an encloistered, gated training center with 48.
So you couldn't leave out. You couldn't.
Well, you can do what you want, but then don't ask to come back.
Oh, you can't come back.
Well, no, I mean, there's a training. It's like, you think the special forces is heavy training. Think again.
Okay.
Think again. When you get locked up for 2 years, 5 classes a day, getting up at 3:30 or 4 in a.m., meditation for hours, 6-7 hours of study a day, meditation 3-4 hours a day. Your brain becomes like a pressure cooker.
And what time are you done? When can you even rest?
You're never done because you're staying in the seminary with 2 guys in a room. You know, so privacy. And I was the only white guy
No way.
among all Indian boys. So the great
So you
part,
stuck out like a sore thumb.
like a sore thumb, yeah. And I was twice the size. You know?
Blonde hair, blue eyes.
But the thing is, they were just, they were Indian varieties of me.
Yeah.
So we shared the same spirit, and they are lifelong friends. I mean, we went through all the hardships together, and it was just, it's like the military, right? When you go
Yeah.
through camp training, you
Yeah.
see the special forces guys and the military guys that go. That's a lifelong, but these are my brothers.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
you see,
I still have quite a few guys that
Yeah.
I served within the army that
never goes
still
away.
stay in contact.
Right. So it was that same bond, but then and it was also very much survival. It was really tough. Like we have barely had, they make it really hard, so they want to see what's cooking.
Yeah. Now I don't even know how to think about. So after all those classes and everything, do you have any free time or
Yeah, an hour, like an hour.
just an hour
An hour, yeah, an hour. That's it.
out of 24?
Out of 24, because in the evening is study, and then afternoon is to go into temple to meditate.
Oh my God.
And the thing is also, don't forget, you're in a different culture. Like
Sure.
it's one thing to have a routine like this when you're in Paris, but when you're in India in that heat, the humidity on the bank of the Ganges, that was really what made it hard.
The weather.
And so the weather was, even for the South boys coming from South India, it was terrible. It was difficult. So, but it's it's part. You're young. It's for 2 years, and so it was a hard training, but it was so much. I never felt it like, oh my God, I'm suffering. I was more like, man, this is a challenge, but it was so awesome.
Yeah.
And after 2 years, your mind is in a place that it has never been since.
Really?
No, because after you're 2 years in that kind of environment, your mind is source. So, and they do it deliberately, right? They want to show you, like, what if for 2 years you would live completely isolated from the world?
Yeah.
Only with really spiritual minded people, eating very, very light, sensitive kind of food.
Yeah. How was the food? Was it
Very, very
meat?
elementary. No meat. You could have fish if you wanted to. The Bengalis are big fish eaters, but I didn't eat it because I should have. It was stupid, but I didn't.
Yeah.
And they will show you, like, okay, let's say you live 2 years like this. What's going to happen to you? So what's your human? And in those 2 years, after 2 years, you realize, wow, I can't believe that just 2 years produces this kind of effect in your mind. And you feel like, and so that becomes the standard.
Yeah.
And they know afterwards that you're going to go back into your place, you're going to be doing work, interacting with the world. And so, your mind obviously is going to come down, but it will always be that reference point, like, okay, that if
the foundation.
Yeah, if I wanted to lift my mind, and this is what I need to do.
Oh, yeah.
I had to pull away,
Connection, yeah.
stay with myself, and stop all the input of all the, because that's where the pain comes from in life, the input from outside, from all the junk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, even more so now than then.
Yeah.
Because now it's with technologies, we have our cell phones, our laptops, and our TV, our smart TVs. We have everything right now, so it's a huge distraction.
We just had a training, right, of our hypnosis and past life regression training that we do. And one of the exercises that we do in there to show students is we just recite a list of words.
Okay.
So, it sounds really weird, but you ask people to close their eyes and you say, peace. And you just sit there, peace. And you said, calm, trauma, trauma. And then you can feel that these words, right?
Yeah.
They have they carry this effect. And if you're really quiet and you listen to this list of words, how incredible, that impacts you. So what to speak of all the input that you're experiencing around you? Do you think that your nervous system, your heart, your inner being is not being affected by this? Your whole vibrational system, your nerves, everything is affected by it.
Yeah.
And so I experienced during those 2 years, when you let's say for 2 years you just stay, we didn't even have magazines to look at, we had nothing at all. And then you're just meditating and think about the divine or whatever, and read sacred scriptures and stuff, and hanging around with really beautiful people. How does that work on your nervous system?
Yeah.
So that's what I really
It's
experienced.
a lot more calming.
Well, it's not calming. Your whole mind becomes like a cloud. You know, you're
Yeah.
just floating away. And I don't want to be airy-fairy about it, but it's basically science.
Yeah.
You know, it's just. So that was the great thing about,
Yeah.
you know. And then I was in India, and then so why not stay? You know, I ended up staying 11 years in India.
11 years.
11 years.
That's a long time.
Until my body nearly died, and then I
Okay.
decided maybe I should go back now if I don't really want to die. So.
Now, did you have a breakdown with your
No.
physical breakdown with your
No,
body?
no. Thank God. It's
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, and when you were there training for the first 2 years, did you have any colleagues that didn't make it or
Yeah.
left the program?
yes, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, because it's
It would be very intense.
very intense.
Yeah.
You know, it's psychological and mental, and they do it deliberately because they want to see that they help.
The strong survive.
Yeah, but also for yourself. Like, okay, are you sure you want to do this? Like, okay, let's take you it to the extreme for 2 years and see if you still want to do this.
Exactly, yeah.
And then some they just thought, no, maybe not. You know,
Yeah.
and so yeah, it
You
was
say they're 11 years?
11 years.
11 years.
Hmm.
And then what was the catalyst? Or
Well, just physical. You know, at some point, you get older, and then 11 years eating rice and dal and chilies, your stomach is just like, I can't take this anymore, you know. And then suddenly, there comes a point, and it's really weird how the mind works. There comes a point when suddenly the body says, I don't know if it's the body or the mind, which goes first, but then you
Yeah.
say, no more, man. I just can't take this.
Yeah.
And then strangely enough, everything afterwards is like, I can't take the heat anymore suddenly. And it's like, it's like, you just like, everything just kind of gives up.
yeah.
And then,
Was it hard leaving? Or you were just at that point where
no, it's a point like, get me out of here.
Okay.
And then I was a full-fledged monk at the time.
Okay.
It takes 10 years to become an official monk.
until you did that.
And then, but I stayed on afterwards as an
Sure.
official monk. So it was a great experience. I wandered the Himalayas in my orange robes and
Oh, wow.
was in caves and in different places. And,
caves?
Well, not like living in caves, but you know what I'm saying. You go on. I lived really the life as an Indian monk. We lived in ashrams, right? But
Okay.
I had so much free time. Once you're through all the trainings, you
Yeah.
can really travel. I traveled all over India and
Okay.
went to the Himalayas and meditated on the bank of the Ganges and stuff like this. So it was like a fantastic experience.
What is the place where it's the water, where they get into the ocean or, I can't remember the place. Cause
You might Benares, you mean?
it might be-
Varanasi, Benares?
It could be, because I have a client of mine. She went and she's going back, and she was saying while she's there, she has got to get in the water. I just did her hair last week.
Oh, that could be Rishikesh.
Okay.
That's kind of the yoga town.
Okay.
That's in the foothills of the Himalayas.
Okay.
Yeah, that's now become more like a Western stronghold where everybody goes to do a yoga training and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's a fantastic place.
Okay.
But it's packed with kind of Western tourists. It's
it
like
is.
Goa, you know.
Okay.
It's kind of a hippie town and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's still fabulous. It's fabulous. It's a good entry point if you want to get into India. And a lot of people get into that through yoga, hatha yoga and kundalini yoga and stuff. So you can do like trainings there, like a yoga teacher training and stuff like that. And so it's a really nice way because there's a lot of Westerners and there's a lot of good food and and it's beautiful and the weather is at certain times of the year relatively good.
Yeah.
So I've been there a few times, but I didn't really stay there. But when I talk to Himalayas, I talk to higher Himalayas. When you go to the old temples and stuff, and that is, it was fabulous.
So after the 11th year, when you decided to leave, where did you go to?
Well, I was transferred.
Oh, you got transferred.
When you're in an organization like that, as a monk, you don't really, it's like the military. You're not going to say to your general, whatever, like, well, I really want to go to be stationed in Hawaii. You can't really say that, right?
Now, do you have any input where you're going or requests where you?
Well, since I was like one of the few white guys in an Indian organization, they obviously treat you with a little bit more finesse,
Sure.
So they asked me, where do you want to go? But from experience, you know that the more insistent you will be on something, they don't like that.
Yeah.
So I said, if you don't mind, I don't really want to go to Europe because I've been there, done that.
Yeah.
So anywhere else. And so, our organization was worldwide, but at some point, I guess I knew that that leaves the US as the most, realistic choice. So I was actually transferred to Trabuco Canyon, which is in California.
Okay.
It's Orange County.
Oh, the OC?
Oh, the good old OC. Yeah. And it was a fabulous place. It was a 40-acre monastery built in a Spanish style by Gerald Hurt.
Okay.
And
now, how was it getting there? Because you had been in this like monk life where you're secluded and you got your freedom at the end, but so how was it going to California?
It's a liberation, baby.
Was it?
Because you go back to...
But it wasn't sensory overload?
No, not at all, because I was still in a monastery.
Okay. Oh, you were still in a monastery?
Yeah, I was still in a monastery. And but, then, first of all, the weather, the food, and the mates are all of your own kind. Of course, I'm not American, but still... Europe and America culturally is as close as it gets compared to India and Holland. So the contrast. So it was beautiful, and the monks were great, and it was just a time of recuperation for me. I stayed there 6 years, and I really kind of restored my body and mind, and my mind was good, but I mean, just acclimatized to the Western world again.
Yeah.
Because unconsciously, you live in such an extreme, different culture.
Yeah, absolutely.
It takes, as you said, some time to integrate back. And it does. It takes some time to reintegrate.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I loved being in the U.S. I had been already 4 times as a student.
Yeah.
Well, I traveled during those days too.
Okay.
I actually, ironically, had been to this same monastery as a 19-year-old.
Really?
By coincidence.
So it was setting you up for later.
Yes, setting me up for later. So I ended up, being there, and I loved it. It was great. Yeah, it was great.
And then from California, where did you go to?
Well, that's after 21 years as a monk. I met Jenna.
Okay, your lovely wife.
My lovely wife. You say, oh, did you give up your monastic life? Yes and no, obviously, because... but it was just a natural transition, because for me it was like, that's enough now.
Well, let's go back a little bit. So those of us that don't know, so when you're in the monastery, you're not with females.
No, you're not.
You can't be with females. You can't have a relationship.
No, you're not.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
You're a saint.
No.
11, 12.
Just self-control, that's all.
I have none. Zero.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. That's crazy.
Yeah. But, Jenna, she's like me in that way, kind of radical.
Yeah.
And so, we're married, but we're still trying to live a very life that is as close to a monk as you can be. So we are, and she was actually part of the organization too, in her own way. So we met there, and
oh, she worked there?
She was a volunteer there.
Okay.
And so we had the same ideals. But for us, what was the turning point? Of course, you love each other. That's the number one thing.
Yeah.
But the other part was like, we realized that, we want to do this differently.
Because there's so many restraints and restrictions.
There's restriction, but it was also heavily, Indian at the leadership.
Oh, gotcha.
So it was all right when I'm younger, but when you get older, at some point, and that's the problem with like being in the military.
Yeah.
The problem with being in a monastery, there's always going to be somebody over your head. Control. And, you have to be in some way, you become codependent.
Sure.
And that, to what degree is that healthy? I don't know. It's good when you're for a few years, but then when it's too long, you become institutionalized.
Exactly.
And so I realized that, and I was guided by a saint, and who told me, he was not in the order at all, and he told me, if you don't use it, you'll lose it.
Okay.
And it opened my eyes, and one day I had some experience, some spiritual experience, and I saw myself suddenly sitting after death.
After death?
Yes, with some saint. And he told me, he said, yeah, it's nice to be a monk, is it not? He said, yeah, you have your robes on, you're giving lectures everywhere, and people come to you, oh, Swami, and it's good for your ego, is it not? Like, oh, yeah. And I was like, yeah, it's true. It's true. And he said, the vanity of all of this, he said, it's going to give you a return ticket.
Oh, wow.
If you don't face.
Yeah.
what now? And it was good. He said, don't get me wrong, that is 21 years that you invest in your spiritual life, that somehow that was not good. No, it was good. But there's a, Jung calls it the shadow self. There's another side that you need to develop, that you need to live. And so I saw myself after death, and then I was there where he showed me okay, if you don't face that shadow self, yes, you will be a monk giving lectures, you'll be all holy and pure and all of that. But, you're not really, facing the demons inside, and not really, because at some point it becomes easy. You're behind a wall, you protect it, and you just follow orders, yes sir, no sir. And we were not really having anybody really on our head like that, but you know what I'm talking about, right? Sure. And so structure, and so it can at some point start working against you. And I was 44 years old at the time.
Wow.
And I had not a dime to my name. And I thought,
you don't,
you don't make money.
Everything provided?
Yeah, everything's provided. You don't make any money. I worked. We had actually jobs, right? I worked.
But you don't get paid.
You don't get paid. And you don't think about money.
You don't.
You don't think about...
Everything you need is provided.
Yeah, and you don't need anything.
Yeah.
Because what if you don't have a wife, you don't have a house, what do you need?
Exactly.
So you don't think about money at all.
Yeah.
But at some point, that too is not healthy.
Now, was that scary at 44?
I'm just, I've always lived on the, how do you call it, the seat of my pants? Fly
by
the seat of my pants. So, and then I met Jenna, and she was also radical like myself. And we were like, if we even have to live on a cardboard box at the side of a railroad station, it's fine.
That's love.
That's love. And we were
I love my wife Debbie, but I could never live in a damn cardboard box.
Yeah, but you're getting up there in age.
Exactly.
Right? Now I don't think that either.
Exactly.
I was naive also. You're naive and you're innocent and you're in love and the thing is, I was like, but my industrial design degree was also useless. Because it's so high-tech business. If you're out for 1 year...
And that's another thing. If you don't use it, you lose it, right?
That's right. And, it's so specialized that if you're not in it for 1 year, you're already useless.
Yes. Who are you?
Yeah, and so I was like, okay, that's... from a practical standpoint, that's maybe not ideal, because I got nothing. But then, as it so happened, my dad died, and I got just a little bit, a few $1,000 to go back to college.
Okay.
And while I was still in the monastery, I enlisted in, in Tarzana. There's a college of hypnotherapy.
Okay. Is that in California?
It's in, California, in the valley.
Okay.
And I would go every night when I went to the night school. Well, and the monks, they thought, why are you doing that? That's just very strange, And that was the first time I was on my way out.
Sure.
But we had a lot of freedom there.
Did you get any pushback?
A little bit, but nobody really, because I was already, a little.
Sure.
I give talks and this and that, and I was kind of, you're getting older and you have enough weight to not anybody bully you.
Sure.
So, you're like, I could get away with it, but yes and no, it's weird.
Yeah.
But, I started going and I went to night school for 1.5 years or so.
Okay.
But by that time I already left.
Yeah.
And then, eventually me and Jenna, we decided, we want to start our own center.
Yeah.
And we actually started a place in Orange, in California, Orange.
Okay.
We actually started, we rented a Victorian house. And we had only enough money to rent for a few months. And hoping that it's going to work out.
Yeah.
But, we were not ready.
Sure.
We were not ready. And then we ended up, whatever money, I ended up going to college and I ended up finishing it. And but before I finished college, we ran out of money, and the place was working, but not good enough the way we thought it would be. Because the overhead in California is just insane.
Yeah.
Even for any normal person, it's just
sure.
Unless mommy and daddy have money, if you come in fresh without any career, good luck being and surviving in California.
Yeah.
So was not working. We had no money, no family backup, nothing.
Yeah.
So we ended up living on the floor of her dad's office.
That's crazy.
For 6 months.
Wow.
And I was getting a job as a bus driver.
Oh, wow.
In old age, I'm driving a bus. I got two college degrees now, and I was driving a bus. And the thing is, but I thought, you know what? This is an investment. I never felt like it was a bad thing.
Sure.
And Jenna always told me, this is good for you. get some real life experience for you and learn what it is to
You've
be.
been sheltered somewhat.
Yeah, not somewhat.
Yes.
Like all my life, I was like a
Yeah.
baby, right? I mean, I was survived by my parents who were in Holland. We
Yes.
were not that we were wealthy, but we were.
You had everything you needed.
I had everything I needed. Never really suffered existentially,
Sure.
right? And in India, though I lived among huge poverty, I wasn't poor. I mean, I had no money to my name, but I wasn't poor
yeah.
because I was taken care of, right? We were in a position of power. As monks in India, you're in a position
Yeah.
of power. We were the ones serving other people.
Yeah.
And we had resources. The monasteries were wealthy.
Yeah.
You know, so I was never, as strange as it may sound, though I was 11 years in a very poor country, having no money to my name, never earning any money. I still didn't really know what it was to be, you know, at the bottom of the barrel.
Destitute. Poor.
Destitute. And then now I was poor. For the first time in my life, I was 44 years old, 45 by the time or so. I had nothing to my name. And
Scary.
well, I wasn't scared, but I was.
For the door.
I was always motivated. Yeah, well, yes, it is. I started for the first time worrying about money. Like, what the hell, man? I gotta, you know. Eventually, we ended up renting a little apartment. I gotta pay the rent like every month. Like, you know, that's like, and then driving a bus. You know, it was just a reality check. Like, this is how everybody else is surviving.
Yeah.
And you've always been on your high horse. Mm-hmm. Not by intent or not out of some arrogance. It's just you're just the way you're born in a situation, you know, and you don't really know what it's like, you know.
Sure.
And so that was very good. I drove for 1.5 years. I drove that bus and helping people in wheelchairs on the bus and old people yelling at you and stuff because you're driving too fast, which I always do. Braking and somebody falls off the wheelchair.
I'm glad I didn't get on your damn boat.
Sorry. So yelled at by the old folk, but it was lovely. They loved me. And I loved them. It was just funny as hell.
Yeah.
And then I started. You know, I finished my college. I started doing more stuff to specialize slowly, and then that's how I got in the Michael Newton Institute eventually.
And that's where I'm gonna fast forward to. I'm gonna go there.
Yeah.
Because how I met you
Right.
is online. I was looking for I had like at that point 5 past life regressions, and then it was I can't remember specifically, but you popped up. And so then I reached out to you, and then I ended up coming to your place here in Roanoke, and I had like one of the best past life regressions.
And life between life.
Life in between life, yeah.
Right.
So let's talk about that. Because a lot of people, some people don't believe in past lives and all of that stuff. I do. And every experience that I've had was very profound, and it's helped me in this lifetime. Like the session that I had with you, the beginning, I was like this little poor blonde kid in northern England running from my dad, who was abusive, and I worked as a shepherd and just lived out on my own. Fell in love with this girl. I can't remember her name right now, but I could never live my life to the fullest in that life because I was always afraid of being found out or dragged back. And you were like, but you always have control. You can go back. You can stand up to your father. But I didn't do it in that lifetime. So let's talk about that with past lives and how it works. And, you know, how do you go from sitting in that chair to going all the way back?
Well, we do a combination of past life and life between life regression, right? So that's eventually, just to finish that story real quick, because we need to go to the point. You know, my specialty over the years slowly became, I did many years normal hypnosis, and then I ended up, you know, specializing in past life, life between life. So we do the combination of past life, life between life. It's like 2 wings of the same bird.
Yeah.
Past lives gives you a perspective backwards. Like, can I detect patterns? Why am I who I am now?
Yeah.
How come I find within myself contrary tendencies and you know, things like that? And how am I again, causality, right? I am the result of everything that I have done. It makes me today. But then, you know, what about going forward? Like, so at some point, if you believe in past life regression, and 1 and 1 is 2, that means, okay, I am going to leave this body and I have lived before. What happens when I die?
Yeah.
So in between, so that's what, you know, in Christianity you may call heaven, or whatever. So you're a moment, but the only difference is that we believe that yes, you may go to that heaven-like realm, but then you just don't stay there until you are done with your journey, which means coming to some sort of state of perfection.
Yeah.
Right? In the image of Christ.
Yes.
I mean, if you were Christian. And so until then, you have to come back. You have to perfect that journey. So we specialize in taking you not only to a past life, but then we take you to that place where you were in between.
Yeah.
Which allows you to look backwards over all these lives, but it also allows you to look forward. Because now you are not Tony, you're not Peter, you're without a body.
Yeah.
So you're in a state of deconditioning. You are your own soul self.
Yeah.
And that one is, because you're not conditioned at that time, it has a much more clear idea about who I really am. But also, very importantly, where do I want to go and what is my true identity?
Yeah, yeah.
So you find people in that state really very blissful.
Yeah.
Because they don't have a body, they're not surrounded by circumstances that the conditioning of their life circumstances, their financial situation, their whatever situation it may be. And they think, oh, I'm just that self, And then there may be guides there, or you're just in your own very high level of consciousness.
It was a guide. My guide, Zorabi, is this huge. He's like a 10-foot tall, big warrior type, kind of African-looking guy. And I remember with Zorabi and him giving me, and then I started channeling. And at the end of our session, you were saying, oh, you're a channeler. You channeled for minutes. Oh, you just...
Yeah, the guide starts to talk through you.
Yes, exactly.
So that's what happens often in that state because, you are... At that time, you're in a very highly, spiritual state. And then so we ask questions to the guide, but the guide really answers through you. But it's not always like that. Sometimes it's your own higher self that is without a guide. You are your own guide. And so there's different ways. But it's the same concept, though. But very importantly, though, is that at that time you start perhaps, when you're looking at all these lives and you look at yourself without a body, and then you ask yourself, well, what next? Like, am I going to keep coming back? Or is there some point... is there a state of consciousness that is beyond birth and death where what my true identity, my true destiny is?
Yeah.
And then the question comes, okay, let's say that is so. And if you get an idea of what that looks like, then the question really comes, okay, well, how am I going to apply that in my day-to-day life? And am I in any way on the way there? And if not, what do I need to do to get myself there? And do I need more lives to get there? Or can I finish this off right now? So it's really interesting to start. So you're getting yourself like a pit stop where you have a sense of perspective.
Yeah. Okay. How did you get in? Because I have a couple of your books here. How did you get into writing books?
Well, like we have the gift of gab, I guess. So we just talk a lot. So it's really nice to express yourself. Yeah. I mean, it's just a therapy. Like people are journaling. Yeah. And at some point, Jenna was in a massage therapy school, and when we lived in North Carolina. Okay. Before we started the Path of Light Center, which we now actually started in Virginia. Okay. An actual physical place.
I love that place.
A retreat place.
I come up in a couple of weeks.
Yes.
The weather's changing. It's beautiful through there. And Debbie hasn't been up there yet. So
you got to take her. You got to bring her.
Yeah.
So during that time when she was in yoga therapy school a few years ago, I had some time alone at home, and I just started to write. And I had this idea in my head to bring forth a lot of conclusions. I'd done by that time hundreds and hundreds of past life and life between life regressions. Yeah. And I thought, is there some theme? Is there some message that is, that runs through all these sessions? Is there like a particular thing we can boil it down to some sort of important thing that we can take home from that? And so that when Souls Awaken is that coming together of all those conclusions. Okay. This particular book has only a few cases in it, actually not too many. Okay. But it has more of the ideas behind it. Yeah. Like what is the philosophy behind it, but in a very lucid kind of way. But I also blended in it a lot of Eastern ideas. Okay. So to really explain like what karma is and how can you correlate that to quantum physics and stuff like that. So kind of, because otherwise if you make it too airy-fairy, and you depart so much from science and reality, you don't want that to conflict. So I try to bring it together in a way that makes sense.
But the good thing now is science is catching up.
It is. It is. It is.
Right there now. So it's like with Dr. Joe Dispenza. I keep talking about him. I'm going to meet you one day, Joe. We will do on a show. Yeah. But yeah, with that, it's like good because there's backup. There's concrete evidence.
There is.
And,
there
like
is.
between the brain and the mind and metaphysics. And
Yeah, there is.
it's great now.
We're entering a new era that is just so fabulous.
Yeah, right.
know?
We talked about that at dinner last night, where it seems crazy that we're going through all this stuff in the country and in the world, but it's like, I think, setting us up for something better.
It is. But you want to make it practical. Like, okay, how does this apply to my mind?
Yeah.
How does it apply to my life? What can I do to bring my life towards a happier place? And at the end of the day, I always feel like I'm a pragmatist.
Yeah.
Like I want to get the result out of it. Like at the end of the day, if it doesn't contribute to me feeling better,
Yeah.
then what's the point of it all, Because there could be millions of psychic phenomena around you and you're directing your attention there, but you're still not improving your life.
Yeah.
And that's what I learned in the monastery. Like, how does all of this apply to me and my own personal experience? And I think that's what's important, where we learn to translate this to, a better, a more improved version of ourselves.
Yeah, yeah.
But I feel better. Like I just feel better.
So for those who are non-believers, or even for the people that believe, let's talk quickly about like when I had my session with you, or if someone has a session with you, how it starts, what happens, and how it ends.
Well, first you make an appointment.
Yes. That's a must.
That's a must. And a session is generally between 3 and 4 hours.
Okay. I think I was here like 3 hours.
No, you were more longer.
Was it more longer?
Longer
You
than-
lose track of time.
Well, we talk for a while because when somebody comes in, right?
Yes.
We have what is called a pre-induction talk. I mean,
Okay.
if you go technical, and pre-induction talk is where we help you understand what actually happens during the session,
Yeah.
which helps you overcome certain, worries and anxieties. Like, am I going to act like? Am I going to lose control and this and that? Am I
Yeah.
going to be
Or-
under your spell and stuff like this?
Or
So-
everything I'm saying, is it real?
Right. So we help you understand, what actually happens and
Yeah.
and how we can help you come to a really good place.
Yeah.
And so that takes some time. So we do that, and then we take you into a regression. And a regression means we go first down into your childhood. But we're not staying too long because that is if you really wanted to make that into a therapy in and by itself. But we don't want that because if you spend too much time there, then you get stuck there, and we don't want to do that. So and then from there we go to the womb regression.
I remember that part.
So the womb regression is where you start for the first time, detach
Yeah.
from kind of the here and now. You start to feel again like a pure little being.
Yes.
And then that helps you to kind of, the first stage of detaching from all the noise from now. Mm-hmm. You start going back to your essence.
Yeah.
Which is a very simple but very beautiful experience.
Yeah.
And from there, we then take you back into a past life. Then we run you through that entire past life until you go through your death scene.
Yes.
And from the death scene, then you detach from that body. You look back over that life, and we ask you a few questions here and there. And then from there, you ascend to a place of spiritual consciousness. Now, initially, you look back over that life. We review that life, maybe with a guide or your own higher self, whatever the case may be. And then you stay there for a while. But then we start to open you up to a larger reality beyond looking back to just that life. And then perhaps you may remember some other lives. You can start putting that together. Well, how does that all work? And then we start comparing that to your current life. Like, are there still tendencies that you carry over?
Yes.
And do we now, and then you see very often that, because we don't just randomly do a past life.
Yeah.
Because we give this one stipulation to the higher self. Why don't you show us the most relevant past life? So we're not just going in blind, oh, let's just go and pass life.
Yeah.
So, and that relevancy means often there is something there to be learned and understood that is relevant to my life today. So we then review that and say, okay, well, how is this relevant to you? Are there some tendencies you carried over? Are there traumas you've carried over? And then we can process that.
Yeah.
We work with that. And then maybe you can call in a guide, if there is a guide, or your own higher self, and say, can you come and help?
Yes.
So we are just facilitating.
Sure.
We are not initiating healing. We have no healing power. We are there just to help, bring in whatever resource, divine resource, to help you deal with whatever it is you need to deal with.
Yeah.
And then finally, and that's where the really practical part, well, it's all practical, but then we say, okay, now based on all of this, where do you want to go?
Yeah.
And can we set that in motion? Become more aware of your destiny. Say, okay, now that I know all of this, I understand, I'm not the victim of my current circumstances.
Exactly.
I'm the architect of where I really want to go. And so that's powerful.
Very powerful.
You start to basically, lift yourself out of your current limitations, out of the paradigm, and start governing your destiny. So no, I want that.
Yeah.
And then the question is, how are we going to get there?
Yeah, and I remember my session with you is like when I was channeling and with my guide, and they told me that you and I would be working together. Here we are.
Yeah.
And that we would be in close connection and that we would do things in the future together. So it's like mind-boggling, like how everything comes to fruition and how it all works out. And like, to me, it's like unfortunate for those who aren't believers because there's so much to it. And the things that I learned from having this life in between life is like, you can't make it up. It's real.
No. And if you do enough of them like we do, you see the consistency is universal. I mean, you can say, okay, I have 5 clients and they're all making shit up.
Yes.
But if you see thousands of them and they're all having consistent experiences, then you realize, oh my God.
Do you know how many you've done?
Thousands.
Thousands. Yeah, because you go all over.
Yeah, well, nowadays we have people more come to us.
That's great.
We used to do it a lot, but you have our own center now, so...
Yeah, let's talk about that before we get out of here. Let's talk about your center. It's amazing. It's in Roanoke. It's a beautiful property. And your architect degree, or your degree, because you had built several places on your site, on your property that's gorgeous.
Yeah, we have 2 B&Bs on the property. We have a yoga studio, and then we have 2 offices. So Jenna, my wife, she's doing what I do.
Okay.
And so we can see couples at the time. So she sees one, I see the other.
Okay.
On the same time, the same property. And people can stay overnight. And then now that we are going more into the training, so we train transpersonal hypnosis and past life regression. So a lot of those students, we try to bring them together in our place, and then we have like mini retreats where we specialize in. So we're not doing so much at the moment retreats for the general public. It's more specialized to the kind of field that we're in.
And the part that you're doing now it's an online program, correct?
Yeah, Zoom. It's a Zoom training. It's 2 modules. So the first one is 7 days transpersonal hypnosis, and then a few months later you do model 2, which is 7 days of past life regression. And we work together with the Michael Newton Institute. They are the you could say the standard, the pioneers of life between life regression. So we work together with them, that our training is exactly the preparation they need.
Yes.
So we are connected to them. We meet them all the time, and they tell us what the training should be like, what to emphasize, what's important.
It's
so
that partnership.
Well, without it, because the students wouldn't be accepted by them, or they wouldn't be good enough. So after a while, they can go and join them.
So you're like the prereq.
We are the prereq.
Prereq.
We are the prereq.
So they can get into the program.
Yeah.
Kind of like after you graduate college and you want to further your career and get a master's or continue in ed. Yeah. So it's really important, because otherwise, they're just, randomly doing stuff, and and then when they come to Newton Institute, they are not prepared properly, and they don't know what's really important. So we set it up just for that, and eventually it's going to take. They have to do a lot of practice before they're able to join them, but they will be on the track to become a life between life facilitator. Yeah. So tell our viewers how they can get a hold of you, or the name of your
Well, you can go to www.pathoflightcenter.com,
Okay.
and everything that you need to know is there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's awesome. Yeah. I can't wait to get back out to Roanoke. Like I said, I'm coming out there soon while the leaves are changing and stuff, and it's gorgeous out there.
Well, now it's leaf peeping season, so it's like
Yes.
it's starting within a week or so.
Exactly.
So it's like
Yeah.
prime time now. Our bees and bees are bursting to the seams. They're fully booked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God, we're out of time.
We're out of time.
Can you believe that?
Like I said, we are just such a gabbers.
Exactly.
Just talking and talking
I could
away.
keep talking, and your voice to me is even when I had this session, like your voice is so calming, relaxing, and soothing, and even just your regular speaking voice, it's just like calming, soothing, relaxing, and then you're such a powerhouse because you know every damn thing, like every realm. I mean, you can talk about anything, but you've had such a diverse life and have done so many things, and you're.
Well, it's fun, I mean, this time I remember as a child, and just a final conclusion, I remember as a little child, I had a memory of myself before I took this birth.
Really?
Yes, I had a memory where I was with my guide. And I said, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do that, and this and that. And the guy said, are you sure, man? That's way too much. You can't do that. I said, I want to do it. And he's laughing, and he said, okay, well, good luck. Good luck. And so here we are.
Here we are. Oh my
Burned out almost.
But you did it.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't. I was on the edge, but I didn't.
Yeah.
I was on the edge many times. Like India is like a almost burnout moment, but somehow we managed to avoid major damage. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh my God, thank you so much, Peter. And you can find your books on Amazon.
That is an autobiography, that one.
This is his autobiography. Yeah. And then you can get these on all your.
Everything is on Amazon.
How many books do you have?
Between me and Jenna, we got 10 books, but a lot of them are more like hypnosis related, so technical stuff. But this autobiography we get When Souls Awaken, and we have a successor, which is When Souls Transition, which is only cases, without commentary, just bang on cases. And then we have Jenna wrote a beautiful book about comparative religion. Okay. It's all on our website under our name. And then she actually has a beautiful book, cartoon book about Luna and Jazzy. Oh, where Jazzy, our corgi, goes to Gorgonia. She goes to Gorgonia. Yeah, it's the most fantastic cartoon book that she has.
Okay. Is that out already?
It's out, yeah. It's on Amazon.
And you can find it on your website and Amazon?
Well, it's all under our mutual name. Okay. And you can find, and there's some course books about hypnosis and guided imagery and stuff like that. So there's a bunch of stuff there. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Peter. Thanks for coming down. I know your schedule is hectic, busy, but thanks for giving me a little of your time.
Well, it's a joy always being with you, Tony. Yes. You're just the best. So we are like brothers.
No, you're the goodest.
We just get along like We do.
Yeah. I'm sure we had a past life somewhere.
Yeah, somewhere related. Yeah. Maybe in Tibet. Who knows?
Exactly. Yeah. Thank you so much, Peter.
You're welcome.
So thank you, guys. You could have been anywhere, but you're right here with Peter and I. And stay tuned for our next episode. Until then, stay connected. I'm Tony Taylor, the Connector, and I'm out.